Here in Houston, Texas, we're covering Texas Online. You know, we have you guys on the show, Thomas LaDuke, Fingers Malloy of FTR Radio. And guys, you know, you talk about politics and you talk about, you know, your show and what you do on the Snark Factor and all the shows on FTR Radio. But you're here to talk about just the message of getting a message out there and the barriers to entry and how easy it is to do shows now and be a niche media. If someone's interested in doing what you guys do, how do you recommend people start?
Listen, it's really easy to get into this if it's something that you want to do. We recommend that people don't spend a lot of money at first. Just go get a cheap headset. You've got your computer. There's a free software that you can download called Audacity that will record everything that you want to put together for a podcast and create an MP3 file. It's really easy to do. I know it sounds intimidating, but if you just do a simple YouTube video search, it's very easy to do, and it's a you know, everybody seems to want to get into video, but podcasting is a cheap, effective way to get your message across.
Well, I would also say podcasting is much more shareable. Sometimes, guys, I think we'll all agree, there are some people that probably shouldn't be doing this. Is it hard to tell people, maybe this isn't for you, find another outlet to get your message out there?
No, it's not hard at all, actually. You know, you're right. Some people need to stick to writing. They need to a lot of people, because they listen to talk radio, it's been so popular for so many years, they think, like you said, oh, I can do that, and you can find out rather quickly that you can't if it's not your thing. Too often when we have podcasts submitted to us to put on FTR Radio, we'll hear someone who just turns on a microphone and will talk for an hour, not take a break, and after about
or a breath.
Yes, for that matter. So you know, you try to not hurt their feelings when they submit something like that. Say, you know what, maybe you should. These are great points. Maybe you should stick to maybe writing a blog post instead of doing a podcast. But you're right, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, it's definitely not for everybody. But I mean, if you want to knock it out and have 5 people listen to you consistently, that's okay. I mean, the writing's on the wall then. But it really isn't for everybody, and you really do have to, as easy as it is to start, you really do have to think out exactly what your show's going to be, how you're going to lay it out each show, like we do on the Snark Factor every night at 8 p.m. But basically, and then move forward. And we usually recommend, or at least I do, is give it 6 months. And if you don't like it halfway through, okay, quit. You put $100 into it. It's not that big of a deal. But it is another quote unquote tool in the toolbox to use in terms of blogging, writing, and video, and whatever else.
I think the other thing that rookies kind of lose focus on is the thing that you should really be concerned with when you start a podcast is, number one, it needs to be entertaining. Right. Too often you will have people that want to start a podcast say, I've got a lot of things to say. Yeah. This hour we're going to talk about baseline budgeting for the entire hour. And you're like, oh boy.
You might have an audience for that, but probably not a large one,
I mean, so what you want about like Rush Limbaugh, it's entertainment first, information second. You got to draw the audience in, and to draw an audience in, you have to be entertaining.
Last question, guys. NRA News, of course, we're a niche product. You guys have niche audiences. In a world of proposed media shield laws and credentialing who's a journalist and who's not a journalist and mainstream media biases, is this really the only way to get messages out there now, is through niche programming like yours, like podcasts and blogs? I mean, this is pretty much the only way to go these days?
It's an exciting time. I mean, if you look at internet radio, for instance, 25 years ago, it was just terrestrial radio. And now you've got a situation where people can do a radio show in their basement. And, the terrestrial market is starting to suffer a little bit. And you've got online outlets like, NRA News, like FTR Radio, that are providing content where, if it's good, people will listen, and they're not going to care if it's from a terrestrial radio station, if it's from a television station, or if it's from someone that's just started up a radio station or online. So I think you're going to see, as it becomes more, the technological barriers continue to fall, you're going to see content driven by people who aren't traditional journalists, and that's why it's troubling where you're seeing the government wanting to step in and try to define what a journalist is.
Guys, where do people go online to listen to all the fabulous shows?
Well, I host a show on FTR Radio called The Snark Factor. You can hear it weekdays at 8 p.m. on FTR Radio. We have, what did you say now? We're 28 shows?
28 hours of live radio. Do you listen to anything I say?
No, I try not to.
Okay, yeah. 24/7 internet radio and 28 hours of live radio, and the majority of that people listen through podcasting.
Very cool, guys. Well, of course, we love you on NRA News. Thanks for your time here, guys.